queries even further. How much could Carl get away with if he had various unattractive personality traits, appeared lacking in confidence, displayed zero game, and even came across with very little social awareness? Are women that influenced by looks? The results were eye-opening.
Oh. That damn video tells it like it is.
Looks don't matter.
Horseshit.
It's all about confidence and personality.
Horseshit.
And even if looks do matter, I'm okay, because I think I'm about a
Bullshit,
7 or
horseshit,
8 out of 10
bullshit.
looks
As
anyway.
Uncle Mark used
There
to
has
say.
to be a reason, unrelated to my looks, why I can't date the women to whom I'm heavily attracted.
Because I'm not good looking, that's
At
why.
worst, I'm
Damn.
a 6. There is no way I'm average looking or below. Anyway,
I know, fuck that
surely
shit.
being at least average looking is enough, right? Naive blue thinker. It's said that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but if you, along with most other people, think that the guy on the left is the more attractive, then this is proof
that motherfucker
is
is
a comforting
ugly.
lie. How much do looks matter? Can
I wanna
having
look
a
like
lot
that.
of money improve a man's dating life? Does being high status allow you to be the selector of women? Looks, money, status.
Okay, I'm gonna ask up
Look
this
at how
stupid
each of these affects a
motherfucker's
man's
work.
attractiveness and why. LMS. We'll also look at several
Son of a
truths that no one
bitch.
wants to acknowledge.
I fucked up.
I ran a fake but believable dating profile on online dating site Plenty of Fish or POF, using
I'm fixing
pictures
to
of
ask
a
up his
good-looking
bitch
male
shit.
model. I named him Carl. Within minutes of the profile going live, Carl was inundated with women messaging him. He averaged a new unsolicited message about every 10 minutes. The opening message was usually a reference to his good looks.
You're hot, so gorgeous. Hello, handsome.
You clicked on me because you thought I had a good personality?
Well, no, I clicked on you cause you're fucking hot.
Well, I clicked on you
Carl's
because you're fucking
personality
hot.
didn't seem to matter that much. If it's Carl's
It
confidence
doesn't.
that is
That's
attracting
the
the
fucking
women,
truth.
why do they mention his looks? Is it just a
You
coincidence
understand?
that a good-looking male model happens to get so many messages
Oh,
from
look at
women?
that fucking whore. You better back that fucking whore on up.
It's often
I'll take
said
that fucking whore out for a
confidence is
fucking
one of
poison
the most
dinner.
attractive traits that a man can have, but I proved this to be bullshit. I made Carl as unconfident as possible, but women were still attracted to him because he's good looking. Carl spoke
You better move that fucking whore out of here.
very single and pathetic.
I'll ass your fucking
Huh,
whore up.
Isn't everybody on here?
You better take
I'm
that.
single
You
too.
better move that fucking whore.
Know about pathetic.
Notice how being single and pathetic isn't so much of a turn-off when the guy is facially attractive. As with most of the girls that Carl spoke to, he got Amy's phone number. But when Amy didn't receive the phone call that Carl promised, she was pissed.
Must have missed that call last night, eh?
Wellbutrin is a drug prescribed to people suffering bouts of depression, so it's probably not the best thing to bring up when you're trying to create a good first impression with a woman. That is, of course, unless you're good looking.
Amen.
Carl
Hey, the
spoke to
fuck
Daniela.
man.
Wish I could travel that much, but I'm broke and kinda depressed too. The Wellbutrin helps, but not much. Anyway, it would be good to get to know you.
Ha ha, good. Are you a propane addicted then? Zoloft is also good for this. Hee hee.
After a sexy, seductive discussion about antidepressants, Carl was able to draw the phone number. If it
Oh,
isn't
he's
as
reading
easy
that
for you to
fucking
draw a
night.
woman's phone number, maybe it's nothing to do with
Fuck
your
that
approach.
shit.
Just maybe
Ah,
you might
fucked
not
up.
be as attractive as you tell yourself.
You better move
The
that
messages
fucking
from
rook.
women kept
I'll
coming,
take that
but
fucking
I
rook
wanted
right
to
for a
push the
fucking poison
boundaries
dinner.
even further. How much could Carl get away with if he had various unattractive personality traits, appeared lacking in confidence, displayed zero game, and even came across with very little social awareness? Are women that influenced by looks? The results were eye-opening. spoke to LJ. Shit pictures, I mean,
Get that
just
fucking
really
look out of here.
awful.
Nice.
I'd love to see some
ass
not
that
taken
rook
from
up.
above at an angle.
Why bother messaging if you're not interested, prick? And while we're on the topic, I'd love to see some not pulling that ridiculous facial expression.
Who said I wasn't interested?
So you insult girls when you're interested in them?
A few good-looking moments later,
Ha ha. Just promise you won't be a prick when I meet you, huh?
Carl spoke to Hyper, a woman with an East Asian heritage. I wanted to open this interaction with a message that showed appreciation and respect for her Asian heritage, culture,
Oh, shit.
and language. Ching chang chang, do you wanna bang?
I speak of casual racism.
I mean, you like,
Get
but
that
not
fucking
rich.
look out of here.
In fact, I'm the poorest guy you'll ever meet. Where are you? You still haven't told me what kind of guys you go for. Tall, short, black, white, Asian, Indian, muscles, skinny, beard, strong jawline.
Huh. Sorry, I was washing my hair. I prefer a tall guy. I'm not overly fussed. I wouldn't say I have a particular type. I'm in Tottenham. You're really selling yourself to me, huh?
To be honest, I'm a terrible human, but I know that I like talking to you. Isn't that the important part? So what did your last few boyfriends look like in terms of height, face, race, hair, body, etc.?
I've only had 3 boyfriends. The last 2 played rugby and were well over 6 foot, white, broad, dark. Huh, maybe I do have a type. What about you?
Prior to this conversation, Hyper probably thought that she liked any guy who had confidence and a good personality. Women are often oblivious to their attraction towards physical attractiveness in males. And things get even more intense the more good-looking the fake male model profile you use. I want to stick it in you.
Damn, I don't usually respond to messages like that, but you're way too sexy to ignore, huh?
What's your number, gorgeous?
9176.
Women everywhere respond the same.
Hey,
Give me a number now.
shouldn't we get to know each other first?
We can get to know each other when I'm fucking you.
I'm not like others.
Give me a number and we will see what happens.
But just because you are fucking hot. 07.
It literally became an administrative nightmare trying to reply to women and document, screenshot, and organize the results.
He's gonna
At
load
times
these
I
out
forgot to
fucking
reply
rip.
to certain women because of time constraints and a backlog of received messages. We'll take a closer look at the conversations you've seen here and
Your
more
fucking keys and
throughout the
fucking
show.
shit, you son of a bitch.
Women often say that confidence, a great personality, and game are the most attractive traits in a man. But what they say and how they behave have been proven in behavioral studies to be 2 different things. Frank L. Connor dropped some uncomfortable truths in his talk on the psychology of love.
The last criteria that I want to talk about, and we don't want to, it's another one of these things, well, I'm attracted to their personality. Well, no. We are attracted to attractiveness. Babies
Amen.
spend more time looking at culturally attractive faces than unattractive faces. People who
Amen.
are artificially disfigured, and in fact, if we had somebody in this room right now, and I took a theater department and had them artificially disfigured, and they were sitting here, people wouldn't sit around them. People sitting on this experiment was done in New York, having people on a subway train, and they had like a big scar or something. People would not sit by them. We migrate towards attractive people. Now, what does that mean? Well, there is culturally attractive. Some of these folks here,
Man, I
and they're
fucked
popular
up.
because they're culturally attractive. In fact, we associate attractiveness with all positive qualities. We assume that attractive people are smarter. We assume that attractive people do better things for the world, that they get in trouble less. In fact, we assume that they are less promiscuous. In every study that's been done, it shows that we believe that ugly people actually have sex in an inappropriate way more than attractive people. So we attribute all good things to attractive people, which is why they're more
Amen.
successful, because they should be, right? Now, what does attractiveness mean, though? Because there is a cultural norm that you have a face that is symmetrical, that both sides are essentially the same. High cheekbones, small nose in proportion to your face, you have an attractive mouth. And there's a slight variation between men and women. And here's what's interesting: when you do surveys of women and men and women, men are right up front and placing attractiveness in their top 3. Women place it lower on their scale, 5, 6, 7, 8. But in fact, when you evaluate women's behavior, it's no different than men. So women say attractiveness doesn't matter, but in fact, when you evaluate their behavior, it does.
Frank L. Connor's last statement is an example of red pill truth. Red pill thinking is embracing the sometimes painful truth.
Amen.
The blue pill is blissful ignorance. Blue pill thinking is naively trying to see the best in mankind, circumstances, and forces. The red pill is hard to deal with, is often offensive, and is usually taboo. The red pill makes people confrontational, upset, and invokes denial. The blue pill is comforting, encouraging, and inspires hope, even if unwarranted. The terms come from the Matrix movies, in which the blue pill will return Neo to his everyday life, unaware of the harsh truth of reality, but the red pill will give him awareness of the truth. For instance, asking a woman if you're good looking if you aren't is sure to elicit a comforting blue pill response.
You're okay. You're average looking. There's nothing wrong with you.
Etc. Red-pilled ways of figuring out if a woman finds you good looking include: has she ever called you attractive, hot, or good looking unprovoked? Is she flirty with you? Does she talk to you beyond what's necessary? Has she made it easy for you to be intimate with her? An article in the UK's Daily Telegraph reads: 50 Shades of Subterfuge, rape charges as male model offering sex in dark turns out to be balding 68-year-old. A Frenchman masquerading as a 37-year-old male model offering women 50 Shades of Grey type sex dates in the dark is facing rape charges after they belatedly discovered he was a short, fat, and balding 68-year-old. A man calling himself Anthony LaRoche attracted much female interest on several dating websites after depicting himself as a young, mysterious Prince Charming, with a photo highlighting his smoldering gaze, square jaw, and designer stubble. Adding spice to the proceedings, Anthony proposed a blind date in which the two total strangers had sex in the dark on their first encounter at his flat in Nice, southern France. One such date, known only as Sylvie, 40, told police that she fell for the good-looking man with brown hair and blue eyes after coming across his profile on dating site Zoosk. After a steamy text message exchange last year, he explained he wanted to play a game like in 50 Shades of Grey to make things more exciting. Le Parisien newspaper cites her as saying, once inside his dark flat, she was ordered to don a blindfold and then join Anthony in the bedroom. After having sex, and despite his reticence to turn on the lights, she flicked the switch to find herself in bed with a man of around 65, with glasses, balding, and all wrinkly. She is cited as saying, he didn't correspond at all to the photo. I felt total disgust. A second alleged victim, known only as Layla, had a similar experience. After sex, he didn't want me to take off the blindfold. When I insisted, he got angry. I ended up seeing his silhouette in the dark. He was old, pot-bellied, with a big nose. Police arrested the 68-year-old man, known only as Michel, on March 17, placing him under formal investigation for rape by surprise. His lawyer, Laurent Poumared, said at no time did his client force the women to have sex. Rape implies the absence of consent. Police subsequently discovered that two other women had filed similar legal complaints in 2009 and 2013. A quick note, before you say that the model that Michelle used wasn't that attractive, bear in mind that the average woman by 40 years old has experienced considerable loss in sexual market value and physical attractiveness. The first woman, Sylvie, was 40, so likely she would have considered herself lucky to snag the male model in the photo. The other woman may also have been middle-aged. You've been told that women are emotional and only care about the mood you create. That's blue pill bullshit. The women were so outraged by this man's looks that they considered he's misleading them as rape. Notice how they only considered it rape after they discovered that the man wasn't attractive? What does this mean? That a woman's perception of an encounter or experience with a man is largely dictated by how good looking she thinks he is. As you'll learn throughout this show, women often treat men according to their looks, money, and status.
No.
Getting the truth about looks from women isn't easy, as Professor Frank O'Connor said earlier.
So women say attractiveness doesn't matter, but in fact, when you evaluate their behavior, it does.
Whether it be
You're
due
right,
to
it
women's
fucking does.
nurturing nature, a fear of being seen shallow, or an evolutionary fear of causing confrontation, and thus being vulnerable, what women say is attractive, and what women say about attraction cannot always be taken as what they personally really feel. Directly asking a woman what makes a man attractive will net you abstract responses such as
Confidence. Someone who can make me laugh.
That's it. Let's get a
Good
fucking
personality.
rematch.
Directly asking a woman if you're attractive, if you're average looking or below, will net you responses such as
You look fine. You're average. There's nothing wrong with your looks.
or
Fuck
some
that
of the most
bullshit.
blue-pilled words of comfort ever.
No, I get shit like looks don't matter.
Rarely will a woman that you get along with call you unattractive to your face. This is
I've
likely
had
the
that
same
happen before.
mechanism that makes women soft reject guys.
Actually,
Often
if I
than
look
not,
good, she's like,
via
no,
lines like,
I'm
I
sorry,
have a
she
boyfriend.
said.
I don't have a phone. No, you give me your number. I wouldn't want to ruin our friendship, but I don't know you.
as opposed to the brutal truth.
I'm not attracted to you.
If you have a female friend, the likelihood is that she likes your personality. So ask yourself, why hasn't she expressed sexual interest in you? So it's women's behavior and how women treat men when there is no fear of judgment and no repercussions for discussing their tastes that indicate women's preferences. Here are some women discussing what they find attractive with no fear of judgment. There seems to be some commonalities between what they find attractive.
In our
Fuck
experiment,
this shit.
most women chose one of these two guys here as their future husband. But when looking for a one-night
Well,
stand,
spit,
they tended
spit,
to go for this
spit.
guy here. Here. As their future husband.
With
But when looking for a one-night stand, they tended to go for this guy here. And there's a good scientific reason for their choice. Why do you find these guys attractive?
I like the cheekbones and the jaw.
Feels definitely like the strong jawline.
The stubble, the eyes, the jaw.
Yeah.
High cheekbones. He's got a little bit darker eyes.
I can actually imagine he's quite forceful in bed.
Women find these things attractive because they're all signs of high testosterone, which means that the man is healthy and strong.
We tend to think it's men who are ruled by their biology.
Which means that the man is healthy and strong.
We tend to think it's men who are ruled by their biology. But it looks like women aren't so very different after all.
So women say attractiveness doesn't matter, but in fact, when you evaluate their behavior, it does.
Amen. Don't have
Highly
me that
sought after men
bullshit.
tend to have most of the following traits. Face, general leanness and visible bone structure, prominent high cheekbones, short fill trim, thick eyebrows, vertically narrow hunter eyes, eye spacing, about an eye's breadth, assuming other traits are also above average, horizontal lower eyelids, neutral or positive canthal tilt. Notice how the outer corner of the eyes of the man on the left are tilted downwards or sag. They have a droopy look. Forward grown lower orbital rims, giving good under eye bone support, ensuring no under eye hollowness. Little to no upper eyelid exposure. A high facial width to height ratio. Exposure. A high facial width to height ratio. A compact mid-face. The last two traits mentioned, a high rather than a low facial width to height ratio,
Shit.
and a compact mid-face rather than a long mid-face, create the opposite or are the antithesis of what's colloquially known as a long horse face. less nostril show, a nose that isn't too upturned, wide palate, healthy white teeth with no gaps, a healthy bite, upper and lower teeth meet, defined forward growth of the maxilla, mandible, and chin, vertical, long ramus, broad, square, tall, protruding chin, squarish, defined jawline with high hyoid, no underchin fat, masculine brow ridge, large skull, hair, squarish hairline, thick healthy hair on crown, little to no hairline recession, little to no temple recession, Nord 0 to 1 on the Nord balding scale. Height, taller than an average woman, preferably taller than an average woman wearing heels, ideally taller than 6'1" the West. Race, phenotype, despite all these women having albinism, you can tell which is Asian, black or white based on their facial features. Some people will simply not be attracted to certain features that typically characterize a particular phenotype. Today, features seen as Western or even exotic are more widely attractive than those that aren't, such as wider, more bulbous, thicker skin noses in some black and some East Asian people. Which of these black men's noses has wider Western appeal?
You better move that damn whore out of here.
Another
I'll
example,
take that whore out for
Western features such as so-called single eyelids in many East Asians. This man had a blepharoplasty to westernize his eyes somewhat.
I'll take that whore out for a poison dinner.
Supple, youthful, no sun damage, acne-free, wrinkle-free, pockmark-free, small pores. If you want to attract young attractive women, no nasal labial folds, which are permanent smile lines surrounding the nose-mouth, signaling aging. Complexion, even, healthy, youthful, appropriate for your target audience. Body fat between 10 to 12%. This is the first step in improving your looks if overweight, as evidenced by this man seen here.
I'll take that fucking bitch out for a fucking poison dinner.
Thick neck, upper arms, forearms, wrists. Large frame, broad shouldered. Athleticness. Penis length, 6 inches plus BPEL, 6.8 plus to be way above average. Penis girth, 5 inches plus, 5.5 plus to be way above average.
I asked that motherfucker
Look at these traits in more detail and how you can improve them soon. Coming up, how women treat average and below average looking men.
Dag dames, persoon 21 jaar jong en ik kom uit Den Haag. Die tijd die gaat nu in. Wat hard jongens. Wat nou?
And how they treat above average looking men.
I'm David and I'm from Berkshire.
David, you are H-O-T-T-T-T-T-T. I'm struggling to understand why you're single.
A short, below-average looking pickup artist entertains women with game and personality, but then gets rejected based on looks.
They yelling pineapples and this much fun all the time, I would invite you guys out.
Oh, where?
Why do you just give me the death stare?
The brutal truth from women.
So what would it take to get a date for Stu at 5 feet? We made him a millionaire.
No.
Not for me. Nothing worked.
He's too short.
You may know an attractive woman who's dating an average or below average looking man, but what happens when an above average looking guy hits on her? We reveal the outcome in this brutal red pill experiment and look at why women cheat. And more of this. We haven't even begun yet. premise of dating game show Take Me Out is simple. An eligible man is presented to 30 women, and in successive rounds, they find out more about him. If any of the women are still attracted to him after each round, they keep their lights on. Otherwise, they are free to turn them off to indicate that they don't want to go on a date with him after the show. But what about the first impression you create? Your looks. Look at the women's facial expressions throughout this segment.
Dag dames, Johnny, 21 jaar jong, ik kom uit Den Haag.
Mag ik het door, Johnny? Johnny uit Den Haag! Ga je maten? Doe dat. Johnny is een vrolijke jongen en zo is hij het heel basic. Ja, toch qua uiterlijk, heel basic. Het uiterlijk, daar gaat het om, daar mag je hem op beoordelen. Dus hou je het aan of maak het uit. Een paar seconden bedenktijd en die tijd die gaat nu in.
Son of a bitch.
The chart at the bottom of the screen is similar to the one you saw in What Attracts Women 1.1 during the street survey. The leftmost face is very masculine. It shows high testosterone, the steroid hormone that men's bodies tend to have in abundance compared to women's bodies. Testosterone is responsible for development of secondary sexual characteristics such as increased muscle, bone mass, and the growth of body hair. Each face, as you move to the right in the chart, looks increasingly less testosteronic and more estrogenic. Estrogens are primary female sex hormones. Men's bodies have these, but to a lesser extent. Now look at Johnny above. Notice the lack of testosteronic development? He looks like a hermaphrodite lesbian. He has a roundish jaw, an undefined short chin, and chubby cheeks compared to the jaw, prominent broad, tall chin, and prominent cheekbones of the leftmost high testosterone male in the chart. Besides Johnny's poor genetic development, he's also overweight. Notice the double chin. As a bonus, he has big ears, a noticeably asymmetrical face, lack of masculine brow, and other flaws. His looks literally telegraph that he's of low genetic quality. How will women behave on seeing his looks? His anger, as you'll see next, is a reflection of how women treat him precisely because of his looks.
Wat hard, jongens. Wat nou?
Ja, mag ik nog wat zeggen?
Maar...
Weet je, ik wil wat zeggen.
Je mag wat zeggen, natuurlijk mag je wat zeggen. Dat mag je altijd.
Het zijn allemaal potten.
Het zijn allemaal potten.
And how do women behave?
Ass up that fucking pone.
I'm David, and I'm from Berkshire.
She likes say along. You're a good-looking little scamp, aren't you?
David, you are H-O-T-T-T-T-T-T. Do you know what I like best about you, David? You're obviously a really good-looking boy.
Nikki, tell what you're like still.
I'm struggling to understand why you're single. Why are you single?
Blue-pilled guys watching this will say,
but
this is a TV game show, it's not real. But remember, women won't tell the truth about a man's looks if they fear judgment or repercussions. So all we have to rely on is their behavior. So far, the behavior in this game show coincides with that seen in the dating experiments, and with what Professor Frank Connor said based on scientific behavioral studies on women. Notice how no women wondered why Johnny was still single. Looks, red pill. If you aren't physically attractive to most women, then by definition, you are physically unattractive, but not necessarily ugly. Note, to be physically attractive, you actually have to attract highly sought after women consistently and frequently, relying mostly on your looks. Feeling attractive isn't the same thing, nor does it produce the same results. How many attractive young women call you handsome each week? Can you imagine a woman treating an average-looking guy like this?
Okay, Max, you are one handsome guy. Whoa. For 200. The childhood prank known as a wet willy involves putting a wet finger in someone's what?
Stupid.
Anywhere you want to put it, Max. Right. Ear?
Would it suffice if I just gave you one? Would that suffice?
Red self-awareness. Does your lower third look like the one on the left or right? The left jaws lack the angularity, forward growth, definition, and leanness of the right. The man on the left also has a receding chin. Dating in the Dark is a dating show in which men and women have a series of dates in the dark to see if they have any chemistry without looks being a factor. Then comes the light reveal, in which they get to see each other. After that, they can either continue to date the other person or walk away.
Will they find true love based on personality alone?
Often, even when there is chemistry, a woman learning that the man she's been dating is not good looking is a deal breaker.
If they have this great personality, you're just gonna hope that they have that great looks to match.
Heads to hoping they look good. There was definitely some chemistry there. We had great connection when we talked. Like everything seemed right, but I have no idea what I just kissed in there. I hope to God that when I was revealed, I don't have this guy that looks like Shrek.
There's chemistry between me and Matt.
While his personality created chemistry, the only chemical reaction that his looks created was vaginal dehumidification. Looks red pill. Balding is a sexual death sentence for most men, as they don't have the facial aesthetics, masculinity, or skull shape to pull it off. Most men cite personalities like Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, as guys who are still attractive to women while bald or balding. Jason Statham used to work as a male model for French Connection. The Rock's Samoan heritage contributes to his robust masculinity. These high-status men are above average looking for their age. The average man can't afford the hidden looks that comes from losing hair. If your dating life isn't amazing while you have hair, it likely won't get better sporting a balding look. Leaving your balding hair to grow will make you look better, older, and uglier, while shaving it off completely will still cause a massive drop in looks for a below average or average looking man. England footballer Wayne Rooney looks more robust and younger after we Photoshop him. He now has hair on the crown and a hairline. In future episodes, we'll discuss the few options you have if suffering from this devastating looks killer.
Tell me. I don't know. He had like a receding hairline. Oh my!
He's not like he's a bad-looking guy. He's just not, the charming, good looks, dashing Prince Charming. Yeah.
Wow, she got long arms.
Red pill. More and more in the West, even being an average-looking guy doesn't cut it anymore because for a woman, lots more attractive options are only a dating app swipe, online dating click, or bar visit away, and she doesn't even have to make the first move.
He's like kind of like total like real stuff, chubby face, he had a gut. Could I see this person on top of me? Like yes or no? No. Talk to me.
The pickup art community teaches that women aren't so much attracted by looks, and that men can attract women by learning behaviors that show confidence, dominance, and personality. This is called game. Although there is some truth to pickup art, much of it is based on erroneous theories. Master pickup artists or dating coaches purport to teach their students how to get sex and dates via various seduction routines and flirty methods. Here are some blue-pilled lies from dating coach Savoy.
Do your looks matter? The answer to that is yes and no. Whether a guy is good looking has way more to do with his fashion and grooming and who he's with. And you can turn a guy from being a 2
that's bullshit.
into an 8 in a couple hours at a mall and a couple $100.
Fashion cannot turn a male 2 into a male 8. Face and body, not clothes, make the man. Rob Evans doesn't look like this because of his clothes. Here is some promotional footage of short East Asian American guy, Andrew Foraday, using pickup techniques to seduce 3 Irish white women on holiday in the United States. He's 5'5". Statistically, most white women don't date interracially. Even fewer date short, below average to average looking Asian men. But can Andrew's pickup skills save him?
Do you like pineapples? We should get married on the spot. Right here.
No, I can't. Even knowing that he's joking, her instincts kick in. But this guy is oblivious because of his gung-ho pickup art, confidence wins the game, indoctrination. Notice how the guy's entertaining them? This is often how pickups go, but watch when he tries to get their phone numbers.
What are you guys doing tomorrow night? Because if you guys can stay yelling pineapples and this much fun all the time, I want to invite you guys out.
Oh,
Why do you just give me the death stare?
And you're done. 10 minutes of pickup, 0 minutes of sex. Attracting a woman via game can work occasionally, but usually, overwhelmingly, game will just delay your rejection if the woman isn't physically attracted to you. It's no surprise that this short guy, a manlet, got into pickup art to help him get women. As you'd expect, the pickup art community is mostly full of pickup artist students who were unsuccessful with women because of being average looking, being below average looking, being short, being an ethnic minority, being bald or balding, and what have you. Good-looking guys who fall into pickup art often leave the community after a short spell, whereas the less good-looking guys often spend years pounding the streets, malls, and nightclubs panhandling for pussy. Compare this with when a fairly good-looking guy, unaffiliated with the pickup art community, approaches a woman. Look at the inviting aura surrounding this woman before the man even says a word. We'll look at how this interaction went soon.
You ever been out and like someone just doesn't like you for no reason and you like chase their validation? This is something that happens. We chase validation from people who break rapport with us. It's just one of the things that's hardwired into us because it makes us feel like we're getting rejected. The idea of cat string theory and that we can't have. We're going to break rapport.
Pickup artist instructor Sin here is implying that breaking rapport with a woman will compel her to chase you, which is like saying that if a homeless man breaks rapport with you, you'll chase after him and give him all of the money in your wallet. There isn't even time in this episode to discuss how flawed this theory is. Pickup art, or PUA, is filled with unproven bullshit theories made to earn money for its dating coaches or promote their companies. In English-speaking nations, pickup has very much peaked in
panhandling pussy.
It has become heavily stigmatized because today's women, with access to attractive guys on online dating websites, don't like being approached relentlessly by average-looking and below-average-looking guys. Pickup artists have been banned from certain public spaces.
Security at Toronto's Eaton Centre is on high alert after self-proclaimed pickup artists have swarmed malls.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Their shtick has gotten them kicked out of the Eaton Centre.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Their shtick has gotten them kicked out of the Eaton Centre.
Like, he's the third one today. Same thing every time. I'm walking, they'll literally stop right in front of me, and they'll just be like, "You're really beautiful."
We've seen women that have been very unnerved by the approach.
Women are unnerved by the approach of average-looking nice guys, but feel completely comfortable swooning over good-looking convicted felon Jeremy Meeks, whose mugshot on the Stockton Police Department's Facebook page went viral. Women even offered to pay his bail. Why is dating tougher for men nowadays? In the past, went viral. Felon Jeremy Meeks, whose mugshot on the Stockton Police Department's Facebook page went viral. Women even offered to pay his bail.
Panhandling for pussy.
Why is dating tougher for men nowadays? In the past, before feminism, women weren't expected, able, or in many cases allowed to work. Most jobs involved heavy lifting, digging, or pulling. Real dirty work. Men's work. Women were expected to find a good husband to settle down with, even if he wasn't that physically attractive. A husband that could provide for her and her offspring, and manage the finances. Women dated up in terms of resources, money, and status. That is, they married men with more resources, money, and social status than they had. A sort of money and status hypergamy. Men could often date up in terms of looks because women needed that financial support and status. That is, they could sometimes marry women more physically attractive than themselves. A sort of looks hypergamy. This trade-off kept male and female couples dependent on each other for centuries. But as women gained more rights and society became more feminized, women secured their resources. Women entered the office where no heavy lifting was required. There was less societal expectation for them to settle down and stay with a good provider. women no longer needed to rely on her husband's resources and status. So
She
women
had some
became free
Cadillac
to be choosy about the type of guys that they went for. They were able to marry men purely for physical attractiveness. The trade-off or balance was upset. What's more, the male testosterone-fueled sex drive is much more powerful than that of a female. Men being far more driven to get sex than women were to dish it out created a buyer's market for women that's felt even harder nowadays. Men bring an overabundance in demand, meaning that women can be as stingy as they like with the supply. A sex and psychology blog noted that whoever gets approached is put in a position of power, so is pickier. The average woman is constantly being offered sex and dates, so will naturally only consider the most appealing among her choices. But what will influence her choices?
Panhandling for pussy.
Healthy attraction is mostly driven by 1. Sexual dimorphism, the extent to which a man is masculine and the extent to which a woman is feminine. For
I just noticed something. His rook is fucked.
A square
no matter where this guy goes, I'm a ass up his rook.
The image of Hollywood star Tom Welling on the left has been slightly feminized by removing some of his attractiveness somewhat for most women who are attracted to post-pubescent masculine. In both images, he's attractive.
I beat you 2 times out of 3.
Is some sexual dimorphism.
Oh damn! I wanted to take away his 1300 rating. Man, I fucked that guy. Oh!
Most men find femininity attractive. For example, short height. Neoteny, that's looking young. An hourglass, hip to waist ratio. Homer Willis has a massive jaw that would be better suited to a man's face. By removing some of it digitally, she becomes more feminine, more attractive. Nothing else about her face has been altered in the photoshopped image on the right. 2. Indicators of youth and fertility, which is why women tend to prefer full heads of hair in men, why men prefer firm breasts in women, and why men and women prefer smooth, wrinkle-free skin.
I'm just
3. Health indicators, which is why we tend not to find blemishes, excessive body fat, or deformities attractive.
No. I'm just not good looking.
4. Physical attractiveness. Both men and women read clues
this
to
guy's
a
ass
potential
and
partner's
chest.
sexual dimorphism